Yo, what up? How you doing today? I was about to say, usually I'm smoking weed on the intro, but I'm smoking weed on the intro again. Uh, what's up? Haven't talked to you in a couple days. How you doing? Trying to stay hydrated. Get what I mean? It's cold out. Um, Warm in here, but it's cold out, right? Smoke this much weed, you must stay hydrated. It's not gonna work. Now, we spoke about some interesting things recently. Uh not just the NASDAQ, but more importantly, we spoke about well, I can't really say more or less important depending on who you speak to, but the Bitcoin, the Bitcoin. Um, Real quick, not to say it like that, but I told you. Where did I tell you Bitcoin was going to go? Where did I tell you it was going to go? If you remember any of the prices that we talked about, okay, we still remain mostly on a daily chart, okay? Um, My bad, Stone. Give me one second. So yeah, we're going to switch this for another uh layout. We were on my forex chart. Let's go to my New York chart. New York is just like the layout I use for like NASDAQ or YM or anything that's like a USD based asset. Same thing I rock with it for the Bitcoin. So for example, like we spoke about a few things here, right? So you notice how like um now is it like oh my candles are different. I was gonna say I think I changed my can yeah, I did. I forgot I did that on Friday or whatever day that was. Anyway, so we spoke about a few things, okay? So we spoke a lot about the gold back levels and we spoke about how we knew like literally weeks before, like why I was already looking for a sell run. Okay. So by the time you guys got wind of what was going on, this was like that crash, right? The initial, let's be clear about it, initial displacement, right? Mhm. Now, anybody that's watched an ICT video before, like you clearly understand what the fuck we're looking at. Like I told you, it's very easy. With or without the levels, you get the same information. So I told you before, you need to be good at structure before you start doing all this extra crazy shit with levels and numbers and whatever the fuck else I offer to you, right? So my thing is, and yo, shout out Hoppy because I haven't said that in a while. But long story short, again, we spoke about these levels. Okay, I've been moving myself around in this, and I don't want to talk about it. I'm in my own way, essentially. It's not going to bother you watching this video, but I'm like in my way, like moving myself around and shit like that because I got stuff in the corner I want to show you, right? So, yeah, I really love weed. It's like so good. Or maybe like the weed I currently have is really good. I'm smoking some stuff called uh I'm stoned. I'm blanking on the name. Oh no, I'm smoking on a wedding cake, and I got what's called Tangy Train. So it's a mix between sour tangy and train wreck. Um, like I told you before, I'm really into like original, like as close as we can as possible, original land races. So, if you could find me some, I'm not like a sativa type of person, but anything that is like a more slightly hybrid balance or indica leaning, um, I love these, and especially because um, noticing half this stuff, right? People, I mean, we joke about this in my Discord, but yeah, you got to be stoned to get to a certain point where it's um just how free I feel with my trading. Like you don't have to actually feel like you're guessing all the time because everything we do happens the same way damn near uh pretty much every day with small variables. So the fact that we're looking at Bitcoin on a 1 day chart, and I've mentioned a million times on this channel that trading is fractal, so you're not going to freak out when you see certain structure. If you're a crypto trader, how we talked about, right? And we almost had a damn near memorial for y'all on the first video because we talked about the first leg. But again, just being just a regular displacement with or without the levels, you could have seen this was a straight daily chart turtle soup. They offered you a bunch of fucking liquidity down here. So what do you think we're gonna go? Like where? Right? I totally get it. Crypto bros have no idea about or try, I'm sure they do, but they don't care about sell side liquidity. Just don't care about it, right? So what we talked about on my prediction video, right? We spoke about how we are in a clear premium and one of the biggest premiums that we could think of. So us being on the 59,000 daily range, one of the biggest daily ranges you can use mathematically. Okay. So when I'm offering you like premium versus discount, and that's separated by this EQ level, and I told you before where I expected it, my next target is coming down to that 88,600 level. Okay. So we can write that down here. Um, 86,000 500 level. Right? Cool. And again, speaking about what we did, so even going back to like some super basics that I did for you guys last year, right? Like what do we get offered? Like I mean, in your face. So I mean like displacement, cool. We get offered and if you don't know, now you know, there's a reason why back then a lot of people used to trade like order block fair value gaps. But it's only because on your PDF rate matrix, just a small gem because I'm obviously in a good mood right now. Jesus, I forgot I wasn't talking to my Discord for a second. Anyway, still give you a gem because I'm nice like that. Your order block for value gap. You know how people used to take like, oh, like, yeah, I'm taking like the order block for value gap combo. Like, yeah, it works perfectly fine because again, you could mix these two arrays because they come one after the other. Like the PDF rate matrix. Let's put it this way: it's in order. I totally get where there's a bunch of talk everywhere on the internet about, but like fuck that. But like fuck that. Yes, that doesn't mean fuck Algo 1 and 2. Yes, I love them. But what I'm saying is, if you're somebody who knows what I mean about these Algo paths, bro, you're not to say you're wasting your time, but yeah, leave that shit alone. You're just going to sit there and confuse yourself. Just go in order. So, yes, high rejection block, order block for value gap, liquidity void. It goes in order, right? So, what I'm trying to say is, yes, that we do rebalance some stuff up here. Sure. I can show you some other stuff to where this is what? What are these two wicks here specifically? Right? And you see how the one wick right here, this is the 27th and the 28th, right? Water. I'm so fried. I'm in here feeling like a fucking an airbender. What the fuck is going on? This shit hit, man. It's mainly the fucking wedding cake that actually chills out the tangy train. Because smoking straight tangy train, you will be sitting there like an apple, like growing in a field. Like you will just be too fried to move. Um, but that's why I like to mix these two. But really thinking about this right here, what are we? What are we? What are we doing? Do you know what a rejection block is? Do you know how to use one properly? I'm not going to explain it here to you, but all I'm going to say is we find it where we need to find it. I'm not going to go into detail about a rejection block. You either know how to use it or you don't. Speaking about that, again, what do we get offered to you? Order block level. So you start playing around with order blocks. Yeah. And realistically, right? I totally get where somebody doesn't understand what I mean about the Pediatrix matrix going in order. So when I get down here, you're probably going to feel better because I these are staple for this channel here, right? A small gem that I wanted to give you, right? Um, a lot of people complain that like, let's say you see a fair value gap, right? And it's slightly peaking into a different level. Like this one right here is halfway in between fair value gap and liquidity void. But the problem is, yes, this is valid. It's not going to like not be a valid gap or whatever the case is. It's still a gap formed in the fair value gap. So yes, you can still validate it that way if you choose to do it that way. I have 10 other ways to verify a fair value gap. But speaking mainly about the fair value gap level, and yes, even the rebalance, you're going to say like, okay, well, I felt uncomfortable because we didn't even like fully rebalance the fair value gap level. But you're now overthinking just a regular gap now. You get what I mean? If you had no idea about these levels, you would still feel good that you found fair value. And right after that, right? What are you met with? Liquidity void. And where are you finding it? Yo, when I tell you this week kicking my ass right now, like it don't seem like it. Or maybe it does seem like it. But you get my point. This week kicking my ass right now. Anyway, um, this should give me like super main character right now. Whoa. Anyway, speaking about liquidity boys, right? I literally feel like I'm in a fucking movie. Like I literally feel like I'm in a fucking James Bond film or something. Um, likely has to do with this background that I keep staring at. But I've been playing way too much Ghost of Yotei, and again, the PDRA matrix, right? You got to be swift. You got to be swift. Not saying even for your entry or for your exit, but knowing how to spot like what the activation of a liquidity void looks like. You usually get these super smart runs right here, right? Again, the smart money activated. So algorithmically, yes, like your liquidity void level is going to produce a singular one-way single pass. So again, void coming from a fair value gap, it's supposed to happen in order that way. Fair value gap gets made, fair value gap rebalance, void. We spoke about levels of why this was clear sell side liquidity here, obviously. And I even gave you some ones that we spoke about here where I felt like it was this level, right? So let me see. Did we actually do what we came to do? And yo, I still don't give a fuck that I draw these motherfuckers um like crooked. Like I don't give a fuck. You see how we made this new liquidity down here by this one. just so we can actually get lower. You get what I mean? So this is not permanent. This is not no all-time new low or no shit like that. Like, no, we probably come up to a gap or something like that. And have no idea for people who trade algorithms, right? That they're supposed to um wait for new liquid so we can even get lower. That's like the whole point of you seeing it like this, right? So how they engaged it the first time, how we spoke about, but in order for you to actually get lower, what are they making you the entire time? I don't want to talk about it. You either understand what I'm saying or you don't. We spoke about liquidity enough on this channel, at least for right now. But my main point is, right, going into some of these levels now, okay? Let's bring it back to this 19683. And I mentioned how, again, same thing with that EQ level. I felt that we needed to get down there. So it's that 88,600 level that we spoke about earlier. This is definitely a target for me for sure. I'm not going to change my mind about that. Also, we spoke about gap. Okay. So again, if you trade perpetuals or you're somebody that has a long-term hold, no, I don't need you to panic. Like you're fine. I mean, unless you're um I mean, yeah, I mean some people got crazy margin. So I totally get it where uh dudes been getting liquidated left and right. Especially because they got a lot of them got liquidated back on the October 10th. And again, I told you that fucking 90 shit, like you thought $100 or you thought 100K was gonna do some shit. No, don't give a fuck about that at all. I told you, algorithmically, we need to come down. I saw the shit coming from a mile away, dog. So if you were a seller of Bitcoin and had sales open this whole time, bro, you'd have been eating. Yes, you can still purchase some long-term hold on Bitcoin. I got some ideas about Ethereum that we'll talk about as well. And yes, we're going to get a little bit into not the trenches, but we're going to talk about some stuff in the crypto space still. Okay. What I want you to do though, all right. I want you to get to a point where you're not also confused on here. Let me get me out of the way. You're also not confused on like lower um partitions as well. So I know we spent a lot of time speaking about like the EQ level here. This is why I was interested in 19683. Yes, your cheat sheet is not going to say these bigger numbers above 6561. So if you put it back there, yeah, that's exactly what it's looking at now. But when I go past it, yeah, this is going to stop. Another thing that we're looking at, right? So you can see it. I told you before that we are doomed to come lower. You could even see it right on this dealing range, 65, 61. It left what? Clear PO3 liquid, which is a strong form of liquidity. Meaning when you can actually come down here, you're gonna slam and fuck this shit up. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, play this video back a year from now. Tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead. Try it. And I don't do that on purpose to make you feel a certain way. But what I need you to do is pay attention to the Pediarray matrix. Fuck the algo pass. Go in order. If you're feeling bad and you're not sure like how to handle your levels, and I get it, the fractal nature of the stuff makes you feel uncomfortable. But that's where you need to put on your thinking cap and start managing like what your real intention is. So if you're actually unsure and you're thinking that okay, um, maybe you're somebody in from earlier. I have a lot of friends who are let's go to a weekly chart, okay? Let's go to get out of that and let's go. Yeah. Right, right, right. So a lot of you guys, right? Do you guys remember where we spoke about this down here? And this was way back when, right? I spoke about this back when um like it was easy. It was easy. Like the buy side liquidity was easy. 100,000 was my target. That was easy, easy narrative for the rest of this buy leg. But the problem is, right? Let's go back down here. Okay. So right back in that 2022, 2023 level, right? This is where I used to go to raves and parties, and I used to have friends, right? Um, they were the DJs and shit at the parties. And so what I used to do, right? Because it was still grind time for me. I had to be able to grind, right? So I'd be on my phone, and back then I had pretty much everything down in terms of ICT concepts. It pretty much wasn't that hard to me anymore. But at this point, I was still starting to learn like how to get better with the breakers and the mitigation block. And I've told this story so many times, but I used to be literally in mosh pits like on my phone, like fucking turn it up when the music get real good, and then like go right back on my phone and try to find breakers and mitigation blocks, right? Speaking about that, right? The reason why I'm giving you this perspective, right? Because you're literally looking at like a huge mitigation block, right? So a lot of people just can't tell like what the difference is between let it be void, which we spoke about, versus and I'm hinting to you at something that I'm not going to talk about in detail. We will talk about this on Discord this week. But speaking about the difference between the mitigation block and the liquidity void, whether it be structurally, mathematically, visually for us, the user, okay? And you getting used to like not tripping that like um just because you see more than two sell side candles, like you can't panic and think that it's always going to be a Bitcoin crash. You can't panic. Like, yes, there's a lot of people who got out here thinking, oh, we're down forever, we're down forever, we're not moving. Bro, this is not long. It's literally a couple months. It's not long. People think that we're coded to just void constantly. We do on a lower time frame. But yes, you do have these periods where we need to do what? You have to create liquidity. Therefore, we need to stop and create some new objectives. So why the fuck do you feel as though selling is not possible at all? I know people talk about altcoin season and oh Bitcoin down. Oh yes, bro, it's orchestrated. We understand, but I need you to get to a point where you're out of your head. Let's say if you're somebody who was at that 30K level, that 40K level, why the fuck did you sell here at 42 thinking that it's the end of the world? There's no way. Why? Now all of you are starting to buy again at that 50 level, starting to think you slick. Yes, you got off on that. But guess what? You went through this thing and you probably did not stay because you got taken out again. Do you get my point here? So there's always going to be somebody somewhere. Um, Not to say it like that. I get where it's slightly still even PvP to it, even like a certain degree, but you're not going to get like a scenario in which like even Bitcoin or Tesla or whatever like household name type of asset that you can think of, like you're thinking that it cannot engage like just sell side liquidity in general. This is what I had talked about before with majority of the crypto community, right? Where it's just hold for dear life. No, you hurt yourself with that. Why don't you go and do yourself a favor and understand more about structure so that you can actually effectively like what they say, stay ready, ain't gotta get ready. Stay ready, ain't gotta get ready. Whatever. Point to you, okay? I want you to get to a point where you're not scared of all of this. Again, what are we doing? You get what I'm saying? Yes, we totally get where um even if we talked about like higher pricing, right? We need liquid. How do you expect us to get anywhere? And look at the top of this. Of course, we're supposed to come back. Stop playing with me. Yes, it's insanely bullish. So even if I showed you, you know, what I showed you, like the Bitcoin's ultimate run, and I mean, we're going to do the same thing on Ethereum coming up. Just some other stuff I want to get done for my Discord, and whatnot. Um, Mentorship for January is I'll be back from vacation about it's between the 10th and the 15th of January. I'll be back from vacation. Um, yeah, so around that time we'll start our newer mentorship. The one we have now goes until yeah, just about that time, that January area. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, bro, shout out to all of my newer students, current students, old students, don't matter. You guys have been fucking rocking it. You know what I mean? And like I said, you can see some of these levels. You can literally see it. Like, I spoke about that 177 level last year. And that's definitely available. So I was even stabbing into this new dealing range a couple different times. Okay, so you can see it visually. All right. Us stabbing into that does show you that we do need to come up here. This is still a version of PO3 or buy side liquidity here. If I did want to be a little slick head, I could also uh half shift it. Okay. You see what my half shift does. All right. So that's what I was saying. I don't expect this thing to, I mean, yes, we do have another low, but we are going to see what's up with that EQ and that level first, 88,600. We're gonna see if we get some reactions here. And we'll kind of go from there. But you can kind of see that they might be trying to still play around with this half shift dealing range, and still be able to drive it back up to that ain't no might, but you get my point. The next one would be that 147-ish area. Yeah. Yeah. So, you can see the same thing here, like what I'm talking about with that bounce effect. It looks like that visually. Okay. Whether you get it from the low, whether you get it from the EXT, doesn't matter really. This is a better entry if you decide to fuck with it. So, but I just wanted to tap in with you real quick. Um, you know, I'm tired. I'm gonna go play some Ghost Yote. Um, yeah, like I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go smoke another one of these blunts and watch Forrest Gump. Uh, I really feel like I'm in a movie. Ever happened to you before? You just like feel like you're like you just wake up like the Terminator or something. Like, whoa. Well, goal for you. Okay, your goal this week is to start thinking more about your routine and your intention. Okay, so if you're a long-term holder or if you're trying to figure out when is the best time to put your money back in, or maybe you don't have any Bitcoin and you're looking to um maybe capitalize on the pullback or whatever. Like I see you, I feel you. Um, I'll help you. So let's just keep monitoring some of these levels that I gave you, okay? And then we'll go from there. All right. So, um, any final thoughts? Ah, so I discovered meme coin trading. Like I knew it existed, but I've been studying some more about it. I'm not like trading it. I'm not like super interested right now. Maybe in like a year or so, maybe. We'll see. But right now, I like algorithms. That's what it is. Get better with that. Okay. See you later.